everyone. We're getting started a little bit earlier just to make sure that you feel relaxed and know that you can hear us. So if you can't hear us now or can't see us now, you do have a problem. But if you can, we're all good. Now, I am just going to say, if you find someone who can't see or hear us during the session, tell them to log out and log in again. And if you're not using Google Chrome as a browser, sometimes that can cause a problem. So just to be aware of that. So we sometimes have people who are disrupting there. So I'm telling you guys to help me. If someone says, I can't see, I don't know what's happening, they normally aren't using Google Chrome, or they need to log out and log in. So get them to come out and come back in again. It should be all right. Most of the time it's fine. Just letting you know. We're going to start in just a few moments. Apparently it's 53. No, I don't know. It's like 50 seconds or something before we're meant to start. And we're going to get all going. So this is BRIE Who. I'll do a proper introduction soon. I'm just going to change my layout so that I can see everything properly, because I got pretty slides. So, want to make sure the slides get seen.
You're so coordinated with your...
Oh no, look, thanks for noticing. Look, guys, my dress is coordinated with the floral pattern on here. How amazing is that?
Talk about branding.
Talk about branding. BRIE, we're going to have to get your dress in the fabric. I just think that's going to have to happen. All right, we're going to get started. Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Kelly. So stylish. Thank you. Something I've never heard about myself before, I can honestly say. So we're going to get started today. It is getting started with Facebook ads. This is a beginner's class to Facebook ads. I want to say that to you to set your expectation up, because I do not want you to feel disappointed that you haven't learned the ins and outs of the dark arts of advertising from this course. But this course is a prerequisite for the course that we're running in a couple of weeks' time on how to do e-commerce. And this course is perfect for anyone who's got any type of business and wants to use Facebook advertising or discover how to use Facebook advertising for their business. So good morning, everyone. I recognize some names up there. I can see Chrissy and Sarah and Mal and Kelly and Jane, who I've all seen before. Tell me a little bit about what type of business you've got so we just get a good idea. I know some of you are there, but you can pop it on otherwise. It's my secret way of getting you guys to interact with each other and find out a bit about yourself. We've got 106 people registered, and so far we've got 30 of you on here.
That's nice crazy.
Yay.
106 people.
106 people.
Don't break the internet.
So that's awesome. So those of you that are e-commerce, this will not fix your ads up, but it's a good introduction. The rest of you, you will probably get enough from here to be able to use it for your own marketing today. So you get to keep this for 5 days afterwards to rewatch it. So my recommendation is you use it, you watch it again, and you actually go and create your ad for yourself, doing so at that point. One thing, BRIE, which would be really great for me is, could you just note down, so it's 9:31 now,
yeah,
and it's 3:30 here. Let's just note down when I start walking through the traffic ads. I'll try and remind myself when it is. Then we can work out where that is so they can just fast forward all this stuff and know where to get to when we do through it. All right. Hey, Rangamari, it's lovely to see you. Talked to you yesterday. So I don't know your favorites. I feel really awkward every time I have that reaction, because then I've got to do that thing where I've got to do all the whole thing. So all right, we're going to get started. It's lovely to see all of you. Right. So first, of course, welcome to everybody today. Yes, you will get this for 5 days afterwards, so please use that to rewatch things if you need to. By the way, Stephen, headstone restoration, like that is like definitely a niche. Like I love it, but I don't think I've ever had anyone that I've worked with before that's ever done that. So that's cool. All right. So you're welcome. Rachel and BRIE, who are we? It rhymes.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, and BRIE, that dress there also has the same colors and stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm so on brand with my marketing right now. Okay, so my name's Rachel. I own Identify, and my husband and I run it. We've grown recently, which means I've been out of pull BRIE. across from her wee business, which is very successful, and told her that she has to come and work with me as well. But I'm a marketing strategist. My focus is teaching people how to do marketing and how to make it better for them and make it work really well for them without necessarily needing outsourcing, or if they need outsourcing, knowing which bits they need to outsource and why they need to outsource it. Because I still believe outsourcing is important, but it's just what the time is and when to do it and why and all those sort of things.
Yeah.
I focus we focus on strategy, and then we also do the other side, which is setting up e-commerce, Facebook ad funnels, CRM, and marketing automation. So that's what we do and set up, but we focus mainly on training. So that's what we do mainly. And BRIE, do you want to just briefly introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do besides identify as well?
Yes. So my name is BRIE, and I live up here in Northland in a town called Kaikoui. So I do have my own business called Simple Life Social, where I do social media management for businesses. But this year I've joined Identify Marketing as a strategist, and I am just loving meeting so many different businesses from across so many different industries. I think that's what I love so much about it, is you just get so like headstone restoration to, tourism businesses. Like it's so vast, and I love it. I just love helping people get clarity over their business. So that's what I'm about.
And so BRIE is coming along. So Facebook ads is not one of her top strengths.
That's right. Yeah.
One of the reasons she knows how to do them, guys, and she knows how they work. But the reason she's coming is so that you guys need to ask questions. So she's going to keep on asking. But she's also here, just like I do when she's running social media ones, which is where she is ahead of me on those things. I like going along and I learn, but I ask her questions. So she will be your question asker. So because obviously you can only type, she will interrupt me if you've got questions and ask those questions to me. But she'll also have her own questions, which might be ones that you haven't thought of, to get clarification. So she's here for that, because if I get someone who's like, it's a second nature to them, it's really hard for her to know what questions to ask.
Yeah, totally.
She'll ask more intelligent questions than I normally ask. I ask dumb questions when we're talking about things. We had a fight on one of our webinars because she said that we had to start doing Instagram stories. And I was like, no, I'm not doing them. We had to have like a little bit of a conversation during the webinar. So it's good to have someone who's got the different levels, because it helps. It helps everybody. All right. So that's where we are. All right. So the first thing that we want to talk about, Sarah, we see you. You've been doing your stories. So one of the things I want to talk about is Boost. So when I ask people, do you do Facebook advertising? Most of the time people will say yes. Some people say, oh, not at all. We don't use Facebook. That does happen as well. But lots of people will say, yeah, we do Facebook advertising. And then I'll say, is it proper Facebook advertising? And they go, yes, it is proper Facebook advertising. And then I say, cool. So do you have Business Manager? And they're like, I don't know what that is. So yes, the webinar is being recorded later. I just saw that. 5 days, you get 5 days to watch it. And then you can't see it anymore. It just disappears into the ethos. Just so you know, unless you're a client, and then it goes secretly into our portal, but shh. Okay. So with the Boost, it's really important to make sure that you understand that the Boost was created basically to take money out of your pocket and put it in Mark Zuckerberg's pocket, because he needs the money. That's for. And there is reasons that we would use the Boost. We would use the Boost. Boost is that sponsored post. So we say ban the Boost. Boost is that sponsored post where it says you do a little post on Facebook, and then Facebook says this post is performing really well. It's reaching, 25% of your audience. Would you like to put some money on it to make it better? And it's kind of like going, cool, I'm going to bet at the horse races and hope that my horse wins. That's kind of what it's like. So we do use boosting. I have used boosting. You would use boosting if you've got an event in 2 days' time and you want to do a post and then push it out to a large number of people. That's a good reason to use boosting. Large businesses use boosting because they can afford to waste a lot of money. But I don't like wasting money unless it's on things that are really important, like beautiful dresses and beautiful, this matches too, BRIE, beautiful stationery, like those things are great. Masks, I'm into wasting money on masks. They're pretty, but I am not into wasting money on marketing if it doesn't give you a good return, because all those things bring me beauty. Boosting money into Mark Zuckerberg's pocket does not bring me joy. So we don't want to have the boost. So we say ban the boost. It doesn't mean you can't use it, but I think it's good to turn it off. And let me tell you something with the boost. We worked with a client 2 years ago who had used Boost as her key way of advertising. So she had a business where she would have events and services, and she'd push out with Boost. She was spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month, probably thousands of dollars a month, using Boost to push out her services. And she got to the point, we wanted to change it. We wanted to move it across. And we warn people, look, if you've been using Boost a lot and we move you across the normal ads, for 2 weeks, you will see a downturn. You will see a loss of income. You'll see a loss of impact, because Facebook doesn't want you to stop spending money on boosts. They actually change the way that they push things out. So 2 things happen. One, your organic posts, the ones that you're not paying for, Facebook squeezes those and they don't let them go out to as many people as far if you're using Boost all the time, because Facebook wants you to use Boost more, to sponsor posts more and pay money. So to do that, they make you feel stressed out and they restrict it. So it's normal to only have about 3% of people seeing your ads. I know I wouldn't use the B word in my webinars, but I'm reading you, Jenny. So you don't want to do that. But what happened with this customer is we tried to transfer it over, and her business could literally not afford that 2-week drop of income that would bring from it. We tried it for a couple of days and just went right down. She is still having to use Boost as her key marketing spend because she could not afford the drop of income for 2 weeks while everything readjusted. And so it is really important to understand that if you're hooked on Boost, it's a little bit like a drug. You've got to withdraw slowly, baby. You can't just do it like fast. You've got to do it, and you've got to be planned, and you've got to be ready for it. So just a little bit of a word of warning. All right. So here's the first thing. You will need to be on Facebook. None of this that we do today can be possible without you having a Facebook profile. So we work with a whole range of people, and some of those people don't like being on Facebook. Some people have, faith-based or religious-based or cultural-based reasons why they can't be on Facebook. And those people, we used to be able to say, look, you can kind of do like a fake profile, like a little bit of a holder text. Facebook has become really savvy, and they know it's a fake profile. So to do any of the stuff here, you will need to be on Facebook. Some people have real issues with this because they don't want to be on it. You still can have a Facebook page that doesn't show a whole lot of stuff and privacy. You don't have to connect with everyone and post on your own profile and things like that. But it will need to be really you with your real name. They may ask for proof of your identity. It's really important to understand that you will need to be on Facebook for this to happen. I'm sorry. We do have a couple of clients where we have set up their pages. The problem with that, and the reason I don't like doing that as an agency, is if you move from us at some point, we have all your collateral. We own it. We will always be tied to it. So it's kind of like a marriage. You have to make sure that whoever does that for you is someone you want to do it for. And the other thing with this around Facebook is never let an agency be the only admins on your account. Because if something does happen, they can just we would never do this, but they can just shut it down. They can lock you out, all those different things. So this is a way to protect you and stop those things from happening. And so we'll go through and have a look at that as well. So just be aware, you personally will need to be on Facebook for this to happen. Right. The next thing you will need to do is you will need business manager. So the way to know if you've got business manager, who knows that they've got it? Like I know Sarah's got it. Who knows they've got Facebook business manager? Yep. Awesome. Who's not too sure? Yeah, I think so. Okay. So here's how you work it out. You open up your computer and you log yourself into Facebook. So you log yourself into Facebook, and then you open up another screen and you type in, and I'm going to type it in here, business.facebook.com. So you type that into your Facebook, business.facebook.com, into the web browser. And if it comes up with you logged in on the other page with this picture, that means you don't have business manager. So that's basically the step. You need to go through and check to see, do you have Business Manager? And that's how you would work that out. So I can't create an account through this process because, awesome. So I can't create an account through this process because Facebook knows it's me, and even if I log out, it just does this whole thing, and it's really annoying, and it picks it up. I've tried doing it. I have done it a couple of times where I've logged into someone else's account to set theirs up, but it's a privacy issue if I log into someone else's Facebook account to do it. So I didn't feel comfortable doing it like this. But basically, there are two buttons at the top. One is login, and logging in will be if you haven't logged in on your Facebook account, it'll do that, or create an account, which is that little blue button there at the top right-hand side there of that screen. On that slide, create an account. And when you create an account, when you log in, you will need to log in as yourself. So I am going to tell you right now the most complicated part of today. Are you ready? Are you ready, BRIE?
I'm ready.
You know what it is?
I have no idea.
Okay, guys. When you load, yes, exactly, Lynn. You will need to remember what your Facebook password is.
You mean that one I set up like 10 years ago?
And what's really annoying is I couldn't remember mine earlier in the year. So I had to change mine. And what I realized is it's connected to a whole lot of other things. So you get to somewhere and they're like,
Oh, yes, of course.
If you do have to change yours, please make sure that you write it down somewhere, because you'll invariably need it somewhere else. Because, of course, what happens if you change it on here is it logs you out of your own Facebook. So then you get a situation where you've got to go into the Facebook and change your password in there, and then you can't log back into Business Manager, and it's just like a big mess. So you need to make sure that when you log in that you remember what your Facebook password is. So if you can get past that moment, guys, you're going to be okay with this webinar. So when you go through, I will show you a couple of pages, and the thing that you need to do is you need to claim some pages. So I'm actually going to show you, you know what, I set everything up, but the one thing I didn't set up was my own Business Manager. So I'm just going to go and grab that and make sure that it's set up. Now, we have a weird looking Business Manager. No, good question, Jane. Yeah, thank you, BRIE. I'll just relax and just trust that you'll answer the questions if they come up. I don't have to multitask. I'll be sweet. In fact, what I'll do is I'll go like this and I'll hide it so that I can't see it, so you can do it for me. So I'm just going to show you my screen. I'm coming into our thing. Now, don't freak out when you see mine, because I am admin on about 50 bazillion different people's Facebook Business Managers, because I need to connect stuff up for them sometimes. So when you see mine, yours will look nothing like mine. Okay? You're okay with that? They're okay, BRIE?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm just going to make sure I've got this really high. People can see it. So you can see I've got lots of different ones here that you can see, but yours would have just simply a create a business. It might have a create a business, and you'd need to write in your business account name. So whatever the name of your business is, your name, and then your business email address. So you would need to do that as part of your Business Manager. And then what will happen is you will need to log in. Come along here. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things. One here, it's really hard to navigate in Facebook, and you will have a different picture here, but I want to show you a really simple thing that you need to remember. At the top left of your screen, there's like a little Facebook logo, and then there's these three little lines, which we call a hamburger, because it looks like top meat patty in the bun, or if you're vegan, top vegan patty and a bun. And then it's got the Business Manager. If you click this, it shows you a whole lot of stuff, which we're going to walk through. But what we want to do is go to business settings. So you can do it here under the little cog, or you can do it here. I think you can't do it here, which is really annoying. This goes to a different settings thing. So it's here. So you go business settings. And in business settings, I'm going to make sure I do this slow enough for those of you that know that you need to watch it again. I have well, that wasn't meant to do that. Hang on, is it coming through? Is it still happening? What's it? Oh, hang on, sorry, I have to account. Sorry, my fault, guys. I have to go through to my own account before I do that. So just hang on. We'll go back to business settings. Okay, let's go back. So I'm here. I'm in my own account now. And here we go. And it's come up directly with this. So you'll see a page like this. So this is a page that has a whole lot of different bits and pieces in it, and shows you where things are. And the key thing that you need to do is you need to come into page, and I'll have a whole lot of pages in here. And sometimes it will come up with claim a page already, but you need to add your page in. So you need to have this one, add a page. Your business already owns this page, or you need to own it. For an example, the company created the page for you. Claiming a page moves it to Business Manager. So you need to add a page by claiming a page. If it says that another company has owned it, that means at some point, either someone else in your team has got a business manager and hasn't told you about it, and you need to be added to their business manager. Or the second reason could be is that an agency owns your page, and so someone else can't own it for you. So you can see here we've got a whole lot of different clients. You can see that these people all own their different businesses, and because they own them correctly. So this means that these people have got their own business managers, and they all own them themselves. So you need to make sure that you claim your page. That's the first thing that's really important to do when you're looking at it and working through it. Because if you don't claim your page and own it, someone else can do it. But also when you claim your page, it makes it come across into your business manager. So that's really important. So I'm just going to find mine so that it's showing up with my Identify one, so that it's showing through on there. The other thing that you need to be able to see here is that we have different people here that have access, admin access to our page. So on a normal Facebook page that's not part of Business Manager, like on your page, you can add admins in there. And the other thing, by the way, with that is when you have an admin in there, you have to remember your Facebook password every time you do that to add that person in there, which is a pain. The problem with that, and the reason it's not so great is that when you've got that person in there and they've got admin rights, it makes it really hard to control who's doing what and things like that. So putting them in here makes it a lot safer. So you can see that under Identify, we have 3 people who've got admin rights. We've got me, we've got my daughter Susie, and we've got Tracy Hazelwood, who is one of our Facebook ads specialists. So she's got it in there because she sometimes might set up an ad for me. So there's a Pages account. The other thing that you need to do is you need to add an ad account. Now, if you have already been doing ads on Facebook, you already have one. But if it's not been through Business Manager, I normally recommend, unless you've got a Pixel, which we'll talk about later, I normally recommend that instead of doing add an ad account, I suggest you do create a new ad account and set one up with the business name, because it's better to have a business name ad account so that if you want to sell your business later or something like that, it's all in here, than your personal ad account, which is your name. So, this shows, Chambers & Co., they've got a business ad account. It's under their business name, whereas Charlotte has one that's under her personal name. It's better to have one under your own name, own business and name. So if you've been running them for ages though, and you don't want to lose all that data, you can add your own one, but it's actually better to add your own, create a new ad account. And it's literally just, you click through, you add the name of your business, you make sure that it's got the right time zone and the New Zealand dollar, and then you just go through and press next, and it's created the ad account for you. So that's the 2 things that you really need to do basically to set up originally on Business Manager. How's everyone going, BRIE?
Good. Jane was just asking, when you click add a page, it's asking for the Facebook page name or the URL, and she was just confused as to what specifically that was. So I just explained.
Good question. I will show. Let's see if I'll pull up Facebook and just see if I can. And I'll show you. So it depends, because my name of my page is Identify Marketing. So you can start typing up just Identify at the name of the page, and it should come up, and then you can often press it. So if you've got a name for your page, you can do that. But if you're not too sure of exactly what that name is, and I'm just going to find Identify in here.
Also, when you're ready, there's a couple questions about the ad accounts.
Okay, we'll do the ad account thing in a minute. I knew there'd be questions about that. Okay, so I'm just going to share this page here, and I'll just stop this share, and I'll show you this bit. So if I go into here, so this is my Identify page that is here that you can see. And I'm just going to make it. So at the top of my page, which you can't see, unfortunately, at the top, it's got like a name, a URL, facebook.com/identify marketing. So I can copy that and I could pop that into that business manager URL, and then it would come up with that page. Most of the time you can just type the name of the page in. So I could just type identify or identify marketing in and it would come up, but sometimes you can't do that. So then you could just copy and paste that URL and you'd be able to do it that way. Cool. Have you got a question, BRIE?
Yeah, so the question was, can you create separate payment accounts or ad accounts for each page you own so that when you do an ad for that page, it's coming out of a specific payment option?
That's a very good question. Do they have the same website for both?
No.
Okay, so that's a good question. So yes, 100%. You can see here, and I'll just show you, make sure you can see it. You can see we have a lot of different ad accounts here. We have a huge number of ad accounts here. So yes, you can see we've got pages. So we've got all these pages that we have access to. So we could own some of these. In fact, if I go to identify, if I just go to identify, where are we? Owned by self. Okay, we've got a couple of client ones on here. Oh, so we've got a couple here. We own one for a client that can't. They've got a philosophy around Facebook, so we own another person's account here, which isn't, as I said, isn't ideal. But currently we've got 3 under here. So yes, we can own 3. And then if I go into ad accounts and I go owned by self, you can see that we also own quite a few bits and pieces here as well. So we can actually own, you can own more than one account, 100%.
And then the question is, should you have a separate ad account for each page?
I would say that, so we have one ad account, Identify, for all of our things that are owned by Identify, but that's because all the billing comes into one place. If you have different brands, very different brands with different accounting, I would personally recommend having them under the different ones.
Yeah.
It depends on how you want to run things, and it also depends probably on your own levels of sanity.
And the last question before we maybe move on here is, where do you find the ad account ID when you're trying to add an existing ad account to Business Manager?
That's a very good question. I'm just going to grab it in here. Where are we? Hang on, I'm just grabbing it here. I'm going to struggle because I don't have my, here we go. I'm just going to find it here. I'm just grabbing it out to find it because I don't have, because all my things are in Ads Manager, so it's going to make it tricky to find it. So what I would normally suggest you do, so there's 2 ways you can do it. One of them is if it's one that you normally would have for your own business, like it's under your own name, then normally it is somewhere in the drop down. Actually, I'll just see if I can show you on here. Let me just stop this one and go into Facebook. Where are we? So I can't do this because mine are already get up. But you can see that there's like a little arrow down here on the top right hand side. And normally when you go to that arrow, it will show you under here somewhere there'll be an ad account space. And so there will be one, but mine's all pulled through. So I don't think mine is in there unless it's going to go. It probably won't let me do it. Here we go, ads. Let me see if it's in there. Also, Facebook changes things all the time. No, that's just my ad preferences, so that doesn't do it. But normally it's in there. It's down here. There'll be like a little ad account space here, and you should be able to find it in there as well. But that's the only places that you should be able to find it because nothing else has got it. But normally I would oh, sorry, gosh, I'm just in the wrong place. It's okay. You didn't see that page. I just opened my emails. I was like, oops, daisy. But I would just normally recommend that you do that you use that. But I would normally recommend most of the time just start a new ad account because you won't have a Facebook pixel if you haven't had an ad account before. So that's what I'd normally recommend doing. All right. Let's move forward to here. Okay, so that was us talking through setting up Business Manager. The next step you need to take after you've set up your Facebook page and your Facebook page and your ad account into Business Manager is to get what's called a Facebook pixel. So a Facebook pixel is a little cookie. It's not a cookie you can eat, unfortunately, but it's a little bit of code that you get from your Facebook Business Manager that it's a long string of code, or it's a number depending on the type of business you've got, and it creates a tracking device essentially for anyone that comes to your website that you could then retarget those people. So basically what it does is anyone that comes to your website, they get given a little code cookie that gets put on them as they travel around the internet. And the next time they come on Facebook or the next time they go on Instagram, you could potentially show them an ad about you because they've been on your website. That's what a Facebook pixel does. Now, in e-commerce, this is very, very important because a lot of people take a long time to come back and know to buy from you. So we use Facebook pixels really carefully to measure things like who's viewed content, who's added to cart, who's initiated checkout, who abandoned their cart, who made a purchase, and we can use all that data to make really clever ads targeting the right people at the right time. Because when you're looking at ads, there's what we would call cold, warm, and hot audiences. This is for every business. So anyone that's never heard of you before, they're a cold audience. They are people who've never heard from you before. They don't know who you are. And we want those people to come to your website. So you wouldn't use a Facebook pixel for those people. But it's very unlikely that the first time they come and see you that they're going to choose you. Normally it's between 1% and 3%. So 1 to 3 out of every 100 people would make a decision to get in contact, make a purchase on that day if you've done your ad targeting right. So we need that Facebook pixel to follow them around the internet, to remind them with a little ad, as you need the ad as well, to push them back to your website to make sure they know you really well. So we're just going to go through how to create that. Now, there are a few limitations with what we're doing right now because I can't show you how to put it in your website. I will say to you that if you have a WooCommerce site, a Wix site, a Squarespace site, a Shopify site, any of those basic ones, often all you've got to do is copy and paste the little line of numbers and then pop it somewhere in the website. And you can normally Google how to put your pixel in a website, a Shopify site. If you've got a custom build site, you normally will need to go to a website developer who made your website and ask them to add it to the header code. That's really important. You can do that too on all those other sites, but we normally recommend just use a plugin or an app or whatever's part of the Squarespace thing or whatever it is, and just put the line of code in. It's normally enough to actually do the Facebook pixel. So this is the techie part that's a bit stressy to teach because I know lots of you are going to have lots of questions about it, and I can't show you how to add it to your website, but I'm going to show you where to find the Facebook pixel, how to email it to a developer, and I'm also going to show you where you do that bit, and then you've got to do that next bit. All right. So we're going to go back into my Business Manager. There we are. And I'm going to create myself a pixel. So again, in the settings, so always come to the business settings. That's a really good place to be. There is a thing called data sources. I'm just going to make sure, Brie, just let me know if the page isn't big, okay? Because
it's big now.
Awesome. Okay. So we come down. So we come down here. There's all the users, everything like that down here. And we come to data sources. And there are 2 data sources, there's lots, but the 2 that we really want to focus on is we want to focus on catalogs and pixels. And the pixels is what we're talking about now. Catalogs is for people who've got an e-commerce site. So our next training, which is a paid one, is for those people who are doing retail and e-commerce. And we're going to show you how to use those e-commerce catalogs to actually really sell and get people that pixel really working well. But for everything we do, we need to have this pixel. So I'm going to click on pixel and we're going to say add, and it will come up. So I'm going to create another pixel for identify. I'm not going to use it, obviously. So I'm going to say identify second pixel, and I'm just going to put test in here so that I remind myself not to use it. And then I'm just going to put so you need to make sure you've got a name for it. Please make sure you name everything, because it means if you use an agency at some stage, they don't have a whole lot of numbered stuff and they don't know what it is. So it's just a really good idea to do that. So I'm going to put my email address in here, identifymarketing.co.nz, and then I press continue. So that's how you create a pixel. That was pretty easy, right? Like, that wasn't tricky.
Mm-hmm.
And then we want to go set up the pixel now. So you click set up the pixel, and you can, it can tell that I've got WordPress. It can tell that I've got it. So I could just press WordPress and it would show me how to do it. Or I could go, yep, that's fine. So normally it will tell you, or I could use lots of other things. Or I'm just going to press set up manually because I want to show you the next thing of how to do it. So then it gives me this really freaky code, guys. That was pretty freaky, right? So what you would do is, if you've got a custom build, is you would just hit email instructions and you email those instructions. I'm going to email them to myself. You email them to the web developer and ask them to, it helps if I spell it right. It's got Rachel Clark sent you instructions for installing a Facebook pixel on the website. And then you can see that is the pixel ID that most of you would use. So this is how I would normally just do it, is I'd do this and then I'd have that pixel ID that I could use, or it's got the code here if I want the code as well. And then I can just ignore that, guys, that bit, and then you would press send and send it away. So the reason it's not doing that is because it's not doesn't have that. So then I could press send and it will just send it away to me. Now, if you've got an e-commerce site, there is a little bit of a complexity here. I would recommend that you make sure that it's using the full proper Facebook WooCommerce platform or Shopify or whatever, because they change the way the pixel is used, but they do that a lot in their plugin. So most of the time for you, you would just need this copy and paste, this little bit of code here. So you just copy and paste that, and then that little bit of line, those lines of those numbers, would just go into wherever the gap is in the back of your website. So that's a really important thing you need to do. And you can see on mine that's got a little red dot. That means that pixel is not active. That light needs to be green to know that it's working. And I'm going to just show you my pixel for Identify, because obviously that one's not there. Let me just go here. So this is my pixel here. And you know what? I just need to do something, because I've just realized why poor Tracy hasn't been able to do my ads for me. So I'll talk about this section. I'll talk about this in a moment. I'm getting distracted, guys. So you can see that it's got my Facebook pixel for Identify. That's the number of my pixel, and it says open an events manager. So I'm going to open that up, and it's going to come through to here. I just want to show you what that pixel's doing and what it's showing everybody. Can you see that Facebook pixel for Identify? Is that showing up, Bree?
Yep, the Facebook pixel for Identify. Yep, we're seeing.
Okay. So you can see here that what it's showing. So we have a very basic pixel because we don't have any WooCommerce or e-commerce on our website. But you can see that it's picking up a whole lot of different things. So it's showing us how many people are coming to our website on different days, and what they're doing in the interactions. So we can see that. And we could do all sorts of tests if we wanted to. We could do a view content. We've got a purchase one. So this one's actually, I think, for our toolbox. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it's for our toolbox. I don't know half the time, guys, because we've had so many people on our websites over the years. I'm not really 100% certain what's going on there. But you can also go through and you can actually put your website in here, and you can open your website. And I'm just going to, I don't think this is, can you see a blank screen at the moment, Bree?
I think it's coming.
It's coming with my website?
No, I can't see the website.
Okay, let me just, is that the only page you could see?
Yeah, we're just still looking at the Facebook pixel for.
Oh, okay, wrong page. Hang on, let me just show you the right page. It was here. I think it's this one. Let me just, this one. This is the page I was wanting to show you. this page. So this is the page. This was just double checking. So this is the pixel here. You can see it's showing me all the different events of the way that people. Hang on, now it's not showing you the picture. Oh, come on. Here we go. So it's showing you when people have been to our website. So you can see who's coming onto our website, what they're doing, what they're managing. And then down here is a whole lot of different things. So actually, I've worked out what that purchase event is. That's actually from Webinar Ninja, because we've got our Facebook pixel on our webinar thing too. So when you guys are on there, someone, actually was Cheryl that's on this here today, because I know she emailed me to say she's doing it. When she registered for it, it counted as a purchase. So it's counted as a purchase there. I think that's probably where it's come from. So you can see some of the things we're not managing, but it just means that we can measure different things and measure things across the day, across the last 28 days, across the last 7 days. So I can change this and update it. And you can see lots of different ones. Now, I would love to show you an e-commerce one, but it's privacy issue, so I can't. But with an e-commerce, it would also show things like add to cart, abandoned carts, how many purchases, all those different things across here, because it's measuring the activity of the people on your website, which is tremendously powerful, and such a cool thing to be able to do. All right. So let me just move this. Stop this. So putting the Facebook pixels on is really important. Do we have questions, BRIE?
Well, I was just thinking, so what would be the difference? So obviously you're a service-based business. What would be the difference that you'd be seeing there in an e-commerce?
So you would definitely see different activities. So quite often you'll see different layers. So you'll see, like, there might be 100 people come to your website, and there might be 40 people have added to cart, and there might be 3 purchases.
So you can actually see all the activity.
You can see it all. It's amazing. You can see everything that people are doing, and you can see when they're doing it. And you can see before on that it said, 39 minutes ago. Normally there's about a 20-minute delay, so it will just show you what's happening after about 20 minutes. It will update on that. It's a live action thing.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Can you not see any of that with? Oh, yes. So Jane's just saying, if you don't have a pixel, you cannot see that activity. That's right.
No, you could probably see it on Google Analytics, but you need the Facebook pixel, because it's not just showing you the activity, it's allowing you to capture those people's actions and then talk to them on Facebook later, depending on how they acted. So we've got a client at the moment, we've got lots of them actually, and the way we set it up is we have these cold ads where we bring people to the website, and then depending on what they did, they see different ads when they go back to Facebook. So someone who just looked at the website will have one sort of ad, and someone who added to cart but didn't buy will have another sort of ad, and someone who purchased might not see an ad for us for about 7 days, and then they'll see an ad. So we change the way that we talk to people depending on what they do on the website, which is pretty cool.
And Alyssa was just asking if you can you show us how you got to the analytics, the reporting there again?
I think probably with the website, because you guys have got the webinar, I think probably if we just move forward and just watch, you can grab it on the replay, because you can slow it down and do it. But it's always coming from the business manager is key, and we'll be back in there again anyway to see things. So we've gone through how to create a Facebook pixel. It really is a great way to use people. And the other thing with it is it can measure what people are doing on particular pages. So you might have, so we might do a promo. So we could do particularly like a promo just about, we did a promo about this webinar. So we could have people going just to that Webinar Ninja page, and then we could only target people if we wanted to who'd just been to that page.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really powerful. And we're going to do basics, guys, today, but we can do dark arts. We can do dark arts that involve doing things where if someone has gone to your page within 4 days, you give them an ad. And then from 7 days to 4 days to 7 days, they get a different ad. And then from 7 days to 14 days, they get a different ad. And you can basically give them a range of different ads telling a story over that period of time, all related to that pixel.
And so that's what we're learning more so in the advanced webinar?
Yeah, we'll learn, actually that particular thing is really really over the top, but
Okay.
we'll learn a lot of the stuff that happens to lead you to that stage. But what we're going to teach you today is the basics so that you can learn that to get to that stage.
Okay, cool.
Because it's super cool. All right, so let's take a tour of Business Manager. I'm just going to say again, look how well my dress just goes with the, it's just like, I have to get one for you, Brie. Okay, so we're going to do like a really good tour through, and this is where, Brie, honestly stop me if we've got people who need to ask questions, because I'm going to walk through it and just interrupt me and say, hey, there's a question about this.
Okay, well, we do have a question that pertains to this section, actually. I think there's a bit of confusion of how, like if you have multiple brands, how to set up your business manager or how that works.
So we're really focusing today, because I'm imagining people with multiple brands, and I don't know if they're an agency or not. I don't know. What do they do?
I'm not sure. It's Jane Renton. I'm not sure what Jane does.
What do you do, Jane?
Not sure. Not sure. She's taking a while to answer there.
Okay, so if you've got a couple of businesses, you can use the same business manager. You just have to go through that process of claiming each page and claiming each ad account. But really, this is a beginner's course, and most of you only have one thing. But your business manager can hold all your businesses and all your ad managers in there. They all have to be separate, and you have to have a pixel for each ad manager, because every account. Now, we do share our pixel around some things, so you can see I had said before with Webinar Ninja, where you guys came and registered. We've put our identify pixel on Webinar Ninja, so people can be tracked that way. So it means if I retargeted, I could get those people, some of you back that way as well. But actually, it's still the same pixel because it's for identify. We had another business at one point called Identifiles that had its own Facebook pixel. It was separate. So it had a separate ad account, a separate page, and a separate Facebook pixel. So it's just around making sure that you've got all of those things tied up. But yeah, so besides that, most of us will be going through just only having one. But you can see I've got lots. You can see I've got heaps. So you don't need to be worrying about, can I have more than one? You definitely can have more than one. So let's just go through this. One of the little things, one of the weird idiosyncrasies about Facebook Business Manager. So again, we're in business settings, is that you can add and move people in here. So I think, Brie, we had you in here at some point, but I think it disappeared off. So let's just put Brie. What's your, actually, Brie, are you okay to tell me what your email address is for Facebook on here?
Yeah, it's
what's your personal one?
b.timmings@gmail.com.
So one of the things around adding someone into Facebook, into your business manager, is it has to be, by the way, are you Timmings?
Yeah.
I call you Timings all the time.
Well, I get that all the time.
So rude. Okay, so the way you add someone in is you need to have their email for what they have as their email for Facebook. If you don't have their email for Facebook, it won't go to them because they need to log in under their Facebook account. So I'm going to add in Brie as a person, and I am going. Oh, hang on. I put it in the wrong place, guys. Hang on, let me start it again. Add. I want to add someone. So I'm going to put Brie in here. Brie Timmings at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can choose to give her employee access, which is actually the best idea. Or I can give her admin. Now, I always ask our clients to give me admin because I have to get in and do everything. But the vast majority of people just need to have employee access. So Brie only needs employee access. It means she could go and post on our page. It means that she can, if she wanted to do an ad, she could do those. So go next in here. And then it will show, and remember, I have heaps here, guys, so don't freak out about that. You will normally only have one, so it's going to be this one. And you go in and you can choose what people get to have access for. So under pages, I'm going to say, well, that's okay. She can actually have admin access. That's fine. I don't mind BRIE having admin access. Are you okay with that, BRIE?
Yeah.
Cool. Then I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to find mine because obviously we don't want to have everybody else's. Come in here and go identify agency. And actually, she could do the creating the mock-ups in Creative Hub because that's kind of cool. She can have a look at performance and she can create an added ad. So she can do that. She just doesn't need to have the finances and those sort of things and stuff like that. So go. I'm gonna do that now. Have you noticed I haven't pressed the invite button? I wanted to press the invite button, but I haven't yet. Because you make sure you give them all the information. Now, I don't have a catalog, so I don't need to do this. But if you had a catalog, if you're an e-commerce store, you could then also give her access to that. And then I'm going to press invite. So she will get, when she gets an invite in the mail, in her email, when she logs in, she will automatically have access to that information. So it's got pending here. So all these people here have different, I have access to everything because I own it. But these people here all have different levels of access depending on what they need and what they've got. So it protects your business. So you can have different people getting different things. So you might want someone who manages the social media. So like BRIE, she manages people's social media. She might not need to have access to your ad account, so you could add her in here. But if you did have someone like BRIE or like me, then you would normally add us as a partner. So these are all people that we have partnered with, which means that we are their partner on their business manager. So instead of us asking that person, so this is lovely Judy, instead of we asking Judy to come and work, give all of our team access, admin access into her business manager, she just has to give our partnership number, identifies partner number, access in, and then I can decide who gets to see her website, her Facebook page, who gets to have access to her ad account, all those sort of things. I decide that to protect what she has and what she doesn't. And it means that if she doesn't want to use us anymore and she wants to remove us, she can just remove the partner instead of having to go through all the admins. The other reason this is really beneficial is it means obviously for us that we have good stability now, but we had times where we had up and downs. If we had someone who left our business, I could just remove them from the business manager and then they had no access over all our client information. So it's just a really good idea to make sure that you use this and you give people the right amount of access through the people and the partners. Have we got questions around that, BRIE?
Not yet.
Cool. System users is a new thing. We don't have this at the moment, but this is for like with the new Facebook shops and stuff like that. There's like a WooCommerce app and there's other things like that. And those are sometimes coming through here as well. But you wouldn't normally do anything with this. It's really just these two. It is a good idea to come in here and keep an eye on this because sometimes crooks use this when you've accidentally added in an app and it's given you access. We've had that happen to a couple of people, so just keep an eye on it, but it's very hard for it to happen as well. So just keeping an eye on it. It'd be really important. Okay. So here we've got the pages. So obviously, one of the big differences that happens is that when you have a business manager, your page gets managed through Business Manager. It doesn't get managed on your Facebook page. And people often find this really hard. I like it because it means that you have a separation now from your page and your Facebook page. So you're not always having to do things. You still get all your notifications and stuff, unfortunately, guys, but it just makes it much easier. And again, you can see who's got access to your page, what level of access they've got on there, and it's through there. Same with the ad account. So I'll just come through and put mine here. So one of the things that's really important with this, I'm just going to find my agency account. One of the things that is really important about this is people won't be able to go and use any of the tools in your business manager unless they've got access. So if I just come up into here, we'll go back to here. Because I noticed this one was a good example. So this is one of our clients and no one is connected. So if I went to try and do her ads, I wouldn't be able to do that. I have to literally come in here again and add myself. myself and Tracy would come in here, and I would have to assign us into here to make sure we can do it. So sometimes if you go, the business manager's not working, I can't do that, you need to come in and check, do you have access to your ad account? Do you have access to your page account? And do you have access to your Facebook pixel? Because you need to have that here. And that's why I noticed before here, I noticed that Tracy Hazelwood doesn't have access to our pixel, which makes it really hard for her to do our ads because the ad is connected. The other thing you do need to know is everything does need to be connected up. So if we come back into, this is the things that makes it a bit annoying and painful. So if we come into identify and we go add assets into that ad account. Sorry, I'm messing with your head. Let me come back into here. Go into pixels. I always get this confused. Go into pixels, and I'm going to go to identify. Okay, and I go add assets. It will say add it to connect it with an ad account. So when you create your pixel, you need to make sure it's connected to your ad account so that it knows how to measure the pixels. So sometimes when we go through the ads and it says you don't have a Facebook pixel, so you can't do this sort of ad, it means you haven't connected your pixel to the ad account. And it's really easy. You just go like this. I have to search for mine because obviously here, you just click that button like that and press add. And it's added to my account. The ad account and the Facebook pixel are now talking to each other. So you need to do those bits and pieces here. You don't really need to worry about a lot of the other things that are down here. Those are the main things you need to worry about. Just the one thing I would say is that you also should put your Instagram account in here. Again, the hardest thing that you've got to manage when you do this is actually to remember what your Instagram password is, because that's tricky. Have we got some questions, Brie?
No, Natalie just has to leave.
Okay. So having a look here, when we go through here, here's your ads. When you click through here, Facebook's just changed the way it looks, so it's actually easier. This is where we'd go to our ads manager. Our commerce manager is where you do your Facebook shop, which we're not covering today. We will be covering that in the next webinar, the paid one, and the catalog manager again, which we're not covering today. The events manager is where I can't remember who asked for it, but that's where you'd also go for that pixel. You could come into here for your events manager. Shop locations is really good if you've got a store or you have a local business. If you put your shop location in here, you can actually target anyone that from a particular circumference who works, lives, travels in your area. You can actually target it. So you can come in here and you can create a shop for yourself. I don't know if you're seeing that. It's a store. Just checking you can see. Yeah, stores. You can come in here and create yourself a store. Now, we're not covering that today, but it's just a cool little thing that's like a little extra with Facebook, which is a cool thing. But we're going to come into here, into Ads Manager. Now, there are some really cool things that you can do with Facebook beyond all this bits and pieces around creating different types of ads and things like that. But I just want to start walking you through what Ads Manager looks like and how ads work. So to do that, I'm just going to make this page big. There is so much in Ads Manager. Like I could literally do a 2-hour full in-depth tour just of Business Manager, Brie.
Totally.
There's lots of cool stuff in there. I just want to make sure you guys don't get so overloaded that we don't do the other stuff we need to do. Okay, so we're going to have a little chat about what a Facebook ad looks like. So I just realized that she's done this a little bit. Susie made these slides. It's meant to be campaign, ad set, and then ad on the third line as opposed to campaign, ad set, ad. So don't watch her thing. Do as I say, not what it says here. But there are 3 different types of things you need to think about when you look at a Facebook ad. There's the campaign, the ad set, and the ad. And we're going to walk through. So those of you that have been to Map It, you'll recognize this picture. So what I want you to think about is a Facebook ad is like a filing cabinet. The Facebook ad campaign is the entire filing cabinet. So I don't know about you if you've got one in your office, but we have a filing cabinet in our office that's just for X clients. So the whole thing is just for X clients. So it's just like all our folders of all our client stuff, because I still do pen, even though we do everything electronically for our clients, we still do everything on paper first. I do. I'm a paper freak. So we keep that. I don't like throwing it out. I like having it there just in case. So all that stuff is in these things. So that campaign is the purpose. It's the overall purpose. In the campaign, we set what type of ad we're going to do. And don't worry, we're going to do a proper walkthrough, but I just want to explain this. What type of ad. And the other thing we set in the campaign level, which is new, it's not compulsory now, but it will be compulsory later on the year. So let's do it now, is you set the budget. My preference is to do your budget as a day-by-day budget. And I normally recommend that if you are a service-based business marketing just to a local area, your budget needs to be about $100 to $150 a month. You need $100 to market to your local area that's cold ads. And then you can also add $50 a month to retarget using that Facebook pixel people who've been to your website to come back to you. $150 a month is about what you need, which works out to be $5 a day. So you could set your campaign level at $5 a day or $3. Sometimes Facebook will say that budget's not enough. So you just, and it'll say you have to spend at least $3.36 a day or something. So literally just go and change it to $3.36 a day to get those ads up. So Facebook will sometimes say, no, you actually need to spend a bit more, but the vast majority of the time that would be enough. If you're an e-commerce store, we normally recommend that your entire ad spend when you're just starting out is just $10 a day, $300 a month. We recommend you start with that and then you scale up as you start to see things work. The reason we suggest that is sometimes ads don't work right away, and we want to make sure that you blow the least amount of money while you're working that out. But also we want to make sure that what ads are working really well, we increase the spend to increase the conversions and the sales and all those good things, but we keep it small. So your campaign is where you decide what type of ad it is. And the second thing you're going to do is you can decide your budget. Now, today I'm going to teach you what's called a traffic ad. And I'm going to explain what a traffic ad is. So a traffic ad is this. Imagine Facebook is this really, really huge, bustling train station full of people. And what you're going to do is you're going to rock up into Facebook with this beautiful colored train of your awesomeness, and you're going to say, yoo-hoo, over here, I want you to come to my train because we're going to go to a cool exotic destination. And they go, that sounds amazing. And they're going to jump on your train, and then you're going to go choo, 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 all the way over to your website on a traffic ad to get to your website. That's why it's called a traffic ad, because there's lots of traffic on Facebook already. There's lots of people there. We're just directing them to come traffic over to your website off Facebook. A retarget ad is just a traffic ad again, but it's to a different group of people. It's all those people that have been on your train, and you're going, hey there, recognize me? I've got different clothes on today, but I'm still the same cool person that you came on board with the other day. Come along my train. Choo, 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 all the way back to my website. So that's what it's called, a traffic ad. So we're teaching traffic ads today. You right, Brie?
I can definitely see, the primary school teacher in you coming out. I now know what it was like to be in Mrs. Claver's class.
Oh my gosh, I will tell you that I once turned my entire classroom into a Where the Wild Things Are experience.
Oh my gosh.
And then we spent a whole week once turning into a Dr. Seuss thing. We had to wear wacky stuff, and it was like amazing. And then I had to stop because parents were like, sorry, my kids don't actually want to come home. We have to stop doing it because we're having too much fun. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun. Anyway, so there's the ad set. It's like a filing cabinet. And then, the campaign. It's like a filing cabinet. Inside that is the drawer. And the drawer is more about the defining of what that exact group of people are. So I'll give an example. That filing cabinet of ex-clients, we might have a drawer that is beauty therapist 2018. Now, that probably would be quite a small drawer for us because we didn't have that many, but we could probably put service-based businesses 2018. So it's making that decision of who are we targeting. And in that ad set, you also talk about who. You talk about where you are going to target them, and you're going to talk about where they're going, like just kind of working through exactly what that is. So it's who, it's mainly who and where. And so we're going to walk through what that is. And then in the last bit, so that's the ad set. And then inside the ad set is the little file. And in the file is all our creative, our picture and our text. Now, for the purpose of this, I've actually created mine already beforehand because I didn't want to have to worry about being creative in front of you guys. So we're going to walk through and do it, but I want to show you that first. So we're going to go through and do it. So before you start, you will need a reason to have an ad. That's kind of important, guys. You need to think about what is it that you want the people to do? Where do you want them to go and why are you doing it? The next thing you will need is a web link. You will need to have a place for them to go. So I'm actually just going to pull mine up because I realized that was the one thing I didn't do. So this is good for me too. Like, you need to have this prep. Now, we've got a little booklet for you guys afterwards, which I'll send you at the conclusion of this, maybe be sometime in the next hour and a half after the webinar. And so if you couldn't join us today, you'll also have that. They'll be sent to you before you watch this, potentially. But you will get like a little booklet that walks you through the stuff that we've discussed today. But you will need to have a web link because that needs to take people to your website. You need an image or a video, and you need some text. And I do normally recommend that you don't try and do this on Facebook while you're doing it. I do often do it like that, but it's actually easier if you just write it down and you've got a thing. So we used to have like a Facebook ad planner. And one of the things we'd do is remind people to write down what your content is before you start because it's easier. And I have found, especially with long form ads where I'm wanting to put a lot of information, and we'll talk about a little bit about that, because most of the time you want to make sure you only got like the top 3 lines of text is the most important part of your ad, because Facebook won't show any more of it unless someone clicks on the ad. So you need a purpose, a web link, an image or a video, and text. Okay, those are the 4 things you need to have ready. So are we ready to do a live walkthrough?
Yes, somebody was just asking, if you don't have a website, can you do a traffic ad to your Facebook page?
No, you can't do a traffic ad. You can only do engagement. You can only do those sort of ads, like an engagement ad. That's one of the reasons it's one of the main reasons we tell people they need to have a website, because your ads become so much better if you do that. You could just do a one-pager though. You could do like a one-page Wix one, so you're at least measuring that traffic, and then you can target those people. So but I really wouldn't. You really do need to have a website for this to all work. And that is actually a really good question, because again, this is the sort of thing that I don't think about when I'm doing these plans and going, by the way, you need to have a website. It's an assumption. So that's a really good question. All right. Who's ready for us to do an ad together? We're good. Ready? Okay. So you can see I've got a bunch of ads here. So this is Broad Match Map It webinar. So I'm actually running these at the moment. And look, I'm paying more than $3 a day. I'm paying $30 a day. I'm confident with what I do now. I'm confident with what we do. I know how I work. I am happy to spend money on Facebook ads. I've got clients, e-commerce clients, that are spending $100 a day on ads and getting really good return, and they are happy with that. But I recommend you start small and you start with that. So you can spend as much as you like. In the world, it is really what we spend is much less. I get most of my training from an American, and they're like, okay, minimum spend on each ad set is $15 a day. And I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of money for my clients to be spending on everything, So it is quite important to make sure that you realize that I'm asking you to spend $150 and you go, oh, that's quite a bit. But actually across the world, that's actually not much at all. And if you're a local business, the reason we can do it so little is our populations are so small. So normally around $15 covers 100,000 people. So some people BRIE, if she wanted to totally get to people for her Simple Life Social, if she wanted to go, I want to focus just on Northland, she could pretty much do all of Northland and be under 100,000 people with her target. So she doesn't need to be spending huge amounts of money. So it is, and if you spend too much money, you flood it. So just a couple of things here. So you can see that while this ad's been running from the last 2 to 3 weeks, you can see that we've had 112 people go to our website for that page. We've reached 15,000 people. So these are cold people that have never heard of us before. And they've seen them around 23,000 times. So what that means is not those 15,000 people haven't all seen it 23,000 times, because that would annoy them a bit. What that means Wouldn't it really?
I would say maybe a bit.
A little bit. So normally you look at that number, and this is like a little bit for those of you that are a bit further ahead than others. You'd look at that and you go, okay, anything that's under 5 times that reach number. So if I go 50, I don't know how to do this. Let me just do this on my phone. Because I don't know. You guys are going to go, oh, come on, Rachel, you should be able to work this out. We can do it. We already do it. Okay. So if that said 75,000 here in terms of impressions, I would know that those people are seeing it about 5 times. I wouldn't want to spend any more money on budget. But it means I do actually have room. I could actually increase this to like, I don't know, $100 a day, and that would still reach around that same number of people, but they would see it more often, which would mean they'll be more likely to click and do and all those things. So you can reach and grow, but that's generally what we talk about. Reach means it has literally reached 15,000 different people around New Zealand. That's what that ad has done. So that's what that's for. This one here, it's going to people who are just in early childhood. It's a smaller list, so it's reached 1,500 people, and you can see these people have seen it quite a bit, which is why the price per landing page is going up, because they're getting a bit tired of it. Luckily, they stopped seeing it today, so it will be okay. All right, so I'm going to go in and we're going to create a live ad. So, Bree, do you want to just make a note what time this is and kind of and what? I'll tell you actually here.
Yeah.
The time on my thing is 1 hour, 10 minutes, 31 seconds.
Okay.
So if we go create here, so I'm going to click create, that green button, and it's going to come up at some point. And you can see here it says campaign, why we're doing it. And it will show you a whole bunch of objectives. Now, brand awareness and reach is what you use when you boost. And we don't want to be doing that. That's what big businesses can do. We do use reach ads in a sneaky way at Identify. But the vast majority of you never want to do these ads. Conversion ads, these ones, conversions and catalog sales, store traffic can't be used in New Zealand yet. But these two here, these are ones you'd use if you had e-commerce. That's when we'd normally recommend for you. There are other ads here. So you can do ads going straight to your Facebook page. So we've got a few clients who want to get messages and lead generation from their Facebook page. So you can use messages for that. We've used lead generation too, where you can have a form and they fill it out on Facebook and you use it for lead generation. And that's cool. You can do video views. So you can load up a video and you can just send it out and measure how many people do it. We're not going to do those ones today because there's complexity and it's not what most people need. These are all really good ads to do, by the way, but they're not ones that are the simplest. I want to show you the simplest. Don't do engagement. Engagement doesn't help people drive people to your website and get that pixel. We want to get that pixel going so we can measure it. And it's a higher intent getting traffic information, because if someone's going to your website, if they're wasting their time, not that you're a waste of time, but if they're using their time wastefully, going to your website to see something, that means they're really interested, and we want those higher intent people. So I'm going to click traffic ad. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to call this toolbox traffic ad, because I'm going to do an advertisement for our free marketing thing. So I've got campaign budget optimization. So I turn this on. Don't turn on the A/B test, seriously. Unless you've got large budgets, it's just not worth it. And I'll show you what I would do instead. So you go to campaign budget optimization and you can choose from daily budget or lifetime budget. My recommendation is daily budget, because then you know that you're going to spend the same amount every day and it's even. So I would recommend that. So I'm going to actually set mine at $10 a day, but you can put yours at $3 a day or whatever you want to do. $1.50 is about the limit. Okay, so I'm going to put mine at $10 a day. And then I'm going to say continue. Are we all okay, Bree?
Yeah, we're all good.
So that was the campaign. That was the campaign bit. Now we're going to come into here. So you can see on the left-hand side, it's got, yep, ticked. It's okay. It wasn't a special category. Yep, we've got the objective. That's all okay. Now we're in the ad set. And I'm going to call this ad set, I'm going to call it board match. Okay, board match NZ ad. And I'm going to come down here, and you can see you can choose where you want to put your traffic. So I want to take mine to the website. So yes, you can put it in Messenger if you want. I personally have never had an app that I've used it for, and I don't use WhatsApp, so that's okay. You can do this dynamic creative, but I wouldn't recommend doing it to begin with. I also would recommend ignoring the offer at the moment. And then you can create an audience. So I have lots of saved audiences, which is like I've loaded up my mailing list. I've got things like, so I'll just show you in my saved audiences here. I've got things like people that have engaged with my Facebook page, people that have engaged with my Instagram page, people who've been to my website in the last year, all these different things. You can measure all this really cool stuff. We're just going to keep it really simple for right now. I'm going to choose everyone in New Zealand, and you can see over here, that's a lot of people. That's 3.5 million people. And I'm going to say, look, most people that like using my toolbox is around 35 plus. Sometimes we get younger people, but I'm going to say 35 plus. And I'm going to say the vast majority of them are female. So I'm going to change this. Okay, so I'm calling this it's called a broad match ad because it's going out very, very wide. I'm going to allow Facebook to help choose. And then I can come in here, and this is a place that you can play for quite some time, and you can choose things in here that are demographics. So I'm going to put business page admins. So I'm choosing people who are business page admins. So there's a lot of those people, okay? And so the reason I'm choosing those people is that I'm targeting this to business owners who already use Facebook. So that's now made it only 19,000 people. It's not that many. I could make
Crazy.
it's not many, eh?
Mm.
I wonder if I made this, if I go to 30, what will happen? So sometimes you can play with it a little bit. Let's see what happens if I go to 30. Yeah, it goes to 24. I can increase this too, though. I could put things like MailChimp. And sometimes you try and put things in here. So I'm looking at things that people might have interest in or things. I might say business. I might just have interest in business. So I can type things in here. So here's business. Oh, they've got interest in business. And every time I do that, the audience size increases. So I want to have quite a big one for this. I'm taking, oh, there we go. It's gone all up to 780. So I'm going to keep it at that. It's quite big, really. Or I might take that one out and put small business. Now, pretend I had a really, really weird thing. So I might say dried flowers. It might be the thing I want. You can see that there's no results. So sometimes some of the things you're interested in aren't exactly. So say you had a dried flower business, you can't necessarily use that, but you could say something like craft.
Mm.
And you'd be able to find craft, probably not witchcraft, just the craft one. Probably not the craft of film too. I don't like horrors. I don't think I'd be able to cope with that one. But you might find other things like handicraft. And so you can put handicraft and crafts, and you can do that just to put, you don't want to put too much in there, because if you make it too narrow, it's harder to find people. But I'm going to put small business and see what happens. So we've got small business. There you go, small business owners and small business. So I'm just going to pop those in there because obviously, actually, that's about right. So I think 61,000 is quite a good number of people. If you got a question, BRIE?
Yes. So is your targeting there saying, okay, of all the people who are between this age and this age who live in New Zealand,
yep,
and are business page admins and are interested in MailChimp and are interested in small business?
No, it is.
Or?
No, that's where people get confused. It's an or and or. So
Okay.
there are small business owners and or business page admins and or MailChimp. So what would happen when I send this out is Facebook will go, okay, she's got 3 criteria.
Yeah.
So there's if you guys, if you remember Venn diagrams, you got to imagine it's like all of New Zealand is a really big circle, and then I made it smaller by saying 30 to 65-year-olds, and then I made it smaller to say woman, and then I made it smaller probably to say small business owners. And so then there's 3 little circles in that woman thing, and one of them is small business owners, one is business page admins, and one is MailChimp, and they all have intersects. And so when I send my email, when I make it live, Facebook will show it to people who have all 3 first, and then 2 of them, and then only 1 of them afterwards. So Facebook will choose to prioritize depending on what I've put in here.
Okay, so how many is there? do you suggest a certain number of interests we should load in there, or?
I would reduce. So if you are a local business, so say this was BRIE and she made her location Kerikeri. So if I said mine was Ottawa, I would not put anything in here because my population would already be small. And I probably would even, so if I said here, if I go Kerikeri, let's just use Kerikeri as an example.
Yeah.
Let me just go into here. So if I said Northland.
Yeah.
If I come in here and I go Northland region, New Zealand, and I have all these different criteria down here, it will actually be too small because see, it's only got 2,400.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing to a small region, so if you guys live in a region and you market locally, I would normally take out all the criteria. So I would just go take out the criteria. Sorry, it's taking a while. And I would make this 18 to 65, and I would make it both genders, unless it's something really specifically female or male.
Yeah.
I would really broad, and I would allow trust Facebook to know who to target it to.
Yeah. Facebook is smarter than we want
Facebook
to
is
admit.
smarter than the average bear.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've actually just now made that like quite a broad range one. So I'm actually going to keep it like that at the moment, just to get through the bits. And then you need to save the audience. So I'm actually going to call this audience female. I'll show you in here. It's just going nice and slow. I think it's just wanting to. So I would go in here and I would call this female Northland broad match. And I call it broad match because I haven't put a lot of Northland. I haven't put a lot of information in there. So I'm going to go save. And so I've saved it. So I'm going to do that. And then you can see here, it's got automatic placements. And this is the other area that you really need to know about. So it's got my audience. It's just setting it up. And then it's got automatic placements. And this is where, I'll tell you the truth, guys. I can tell if someone knows what they're doing on their Facebook ads if I go and sneakily look at their Facebook ads and I can see they are targeting everywhere, because this is where we waste our budget. So Facebook wants us to, even though it wants us to succeed, it also wants to spend our money as fast as possible and then go, wow, look at this. You've shown to all these people. But what we care about is results. So we don't want automatic placements. We want to go manual placements. And here we can choose. These are all the places that Facebook can show your ad, and I'm going to show you what I take off. Audience network is like when you go to stuff and there's an ad and it's come from Facebook, but it doesn't know, you know, it's from Facebook, it's actually your ad. They rent space on other people's websites. Most of the time it's a waste of money because people don't tend to click, or when they do click, it's an accident. So I take those ones off. I take off the in-article ones because I hate it when I'm reading an article and there's a big ad. Again, it looks a bit like this, so I don't do that. I don't do the sponsored messages because that's not part of this, so that's okay. I do sometimes put it in my search. I normally keep it in the search results because if someone went free marketing training or amazing shoes or whatever it is that we're doing, then your ad would come up because it would be relevant. So I do normally keep it in there. I do take it out of the in-stream videos because often I'm not doing a video, but also because I find those ads really annoying. So I take those out. And then in the stories, I often take out the messenger stories because it's quite a small picture and I don't think it works very well, but I keep it in the Instagram and Facebook stories. Now, sometimes I actually will take it out here and I will do a separate ad just for Facebook and stories if I'm feeling enthusiastic. Not all the time. It's best practice too. It's just, you know, let's all admit that we're all human, you know. You can see here too, when you do this, it will show you what the ad on the here. You can see that it actually shows you what the ads look like. Yeah. You see how that's changing there with that picture? So it does give you an idea of what it's meant to look like. So I want it in the Facebook news feed. So it's just scrolling when people see it. I want it in the Instagram feed. I will put mine in the marketplace, but if you've got like a high-end product or a high-end service, I wouldn't put it in there normally because that's just where people like to buy, sell. I always take it out of the video feeds because it's not a video. And I normally take it out of the right column unless I have most of my target market are over 65s who use desktop, not me. So I take it out of there. So as you can see now, I don't have that many in here that I'm actually using. So that's the inbox there. I would normally take it out of there as well. So you can see I don't actually have that many that I'm actually targeting. So now it's actually dropped the reach a little bit as well. And it always scares you. It says removing audience network might increase the cost per conversion. Yes, it does, but it also increases the power of those conversions. So that's okay.
Yeah.
And then down here, it will give you an option. So I've got landing page views. If it is only showing link clicks, it means you don't have your pixel connected to your ad account. So landing page views means that Facebook will measure how many people actually clicked on the link to go to your website, waited for your website to load, and lasted at least 3 seconds. That's what it's measuring. A link click is just people clicking on the link to read more information, or maybe clicking interest now and then moving away from it before they come to your website. So that's what we want to focus on, is people that are coming to your actual website. There's a whole lot of other ones here, but that's the one you do. Do not do the daily unique reach for this executive. Always do the landing page view one. Okay, otherwise it will get very expensive for you. Okay, so that's the ad set. That's all the stuff that we do in the ad set. So I want you, when you're doing your ad, go through and do it like that, because that's when how you need it to be. Then we go through and we do create the ad. Now, when you're creating an ad, you need to make sure that you name the ad, because if you're creating more than one, it will make it really tricky. So I'm just going to do this here. So I'm going to make, I've made 2 video ads for this thing. I'm going to show you both of them. There's 2 ways that you can do this. I'm going to show you the simplest way. So I like having a different creative so that I can see which one's working best, and one will often perform better than another one. You can see I've actually got 2 linked up to my thing. So you just need to make sure that you've got your Instagram and your Facebook are both there, so that it will show on both. And then I'm going to create an ad. And there's a whole range of ways you can do that. You can do a carousel ad, which means you load up lots of pictures and it shows like a range of stories. I used to love doing them. I am a supremely lazy person when it comes to my own marketing. So I don't like doing them now because it's just more effort. I will do them sometimes, but I personally prefer just to do a single image because it's easier. Carousel ads are great, and they were really hot about 3 or 4 years ago, but actually I don't see a huge difference in engagement levels from doing it or not. So do them sometimes, but you can also just do a single image or a video. Facebook loves video, so I am using video a lot more, and I designed my ads in Canva, and I'll show you what they look like in a moment. A collection is something that you can't really do unless you've got a catalog. So just don't worry about that. We're just going to focus on the single image or video. Also, this is going to just ignore this stuff too. This is just complicated. And then we're going to go here. So we're going to go add media. So I'm going to click this button and I'm going to add a video because I created a video. And it will automatically come up with all the videos I've already had in the past. So it's got a whole lot of videos that I've loaded up. So one of the little cool things that we did, BRIE, when we made GIFs, is I made sure I also had the move file or the video file for those. Mm-hmm. And I use those. They actually convert super, super well as videos, because as ads, because you're moving in them. Yeah. So it's a really cool way just to use the video file instead of a GIF file and use it in an ad, and it works really well. So I'm just going to grab one of these. So I did one ahead of time, guys, because that's how I love you guys, is to actually do it ahead of time. Of course, now I'm like, where is it? Oh, here we go. Silent run through. Where is my? It's called 2020 Identify. Oh, it's called Identify Insta. Sorry. So Identify Insta. So I've got this one here. This one here. We're going to use this one, and I'm going to press open. And so it's just going to upload in, and it's uploading. It's like a little video. And so it's just, I'll show you, hopefully it will show in a moment. So it's recommended 15 seconds or less. So I made it really short, but it means that it catches the eye. And the way I always say Facebook is like a kitten. It needs to be fed often, and it likes things that moves. And so you need to make sure that you have, like, having video really helps. So here's my little video. and it should work all the time and everywhere because it's square. So I shouldn't need to edit video. You can, this is a cool little thing. I'm not going to use it now. You can actually use polls on these. So you could actually create like a little poll if you wanted to here. So you could have something like who wants a free so it's taking ages. I feel like I should do this. I'm gonna do this. This looks fun. I like playing with stuff that I just discover. Okay. It's taking like 55,000 hours now, so now I'm regretting it. Okay. Who wants a free? Oh my gosh. Marketing strategy question. And then I go, me, not me. I always find it's really sad because then I'm always like, I want them to say yes. I'm just gonna wait for that to go. Do we have questions so far, BRIE, or are we okay?
I think everyone's okay. There was just a couple of questions, but I just reiterated because you'd already said it, so I just
okay, cool.
But, I will have to go in 2 minutes because I have a social training.
That is totally fine. I think we're running a bit late, aren't we?
We are. We have 2 minutes until 11.
Okay. Are you guys all okay to stay a bit longer if BRIE goes?
Oh, Nikki says she's fine. They're all yes. They don't care about me.
No, they do care. We do care about you. Okay, we're almost through it anyway. It just shows you how much you need to like do, you know. So one of the things around this, while we're doing this, is for those of you that are in e-commerce, I need you to get up to play with this. If you're interested in doing the paid Facebook ads, how to build a marketing funnel, it is completely designed for Q4. So it's all about how to build up for Christmas. And so I want to make sure that you have got all the information that you need from this so that you can go and do that. So please, you know, go through this. We will give you a link to it, obviously. So here I've got my little ad. So it just plays. I've just done like a little silent ad of just me running through. It looks super cute and cool. I like it. I'm quite impressed with it with the little thing. I'm pepping myself up, guys. And then I'm going to press. So this is what I wrote. So you can see I've got quite a lot of information here. The thing that's really important to remember is they only can see the top 3 lines in their feed. So you need to make sure that whatever you put at the top 3 lines is the most important part. And then come get started. So when you're doing so your description, or sorry, your content up here, let me just move back up again. It just seems to enjoy just slowing right down now, BRIE. Which is always fun, isn't it?
Oh yes, especially when you're trying to go faster.
Like, come on, I want to do this. Hurry up. What's it going? Okay, so when I'm coming into here, oh my gosh, where am I? Here we go. So the primary text is where you put the information. You can see how you can only see 3 lines. So it's really important to make sure that it's clear. And then when people play that, hopefully it starts playing in a minute. It's obviously still doing its weird little thing. People can see it, but hopefully even if it's not pretty, it still looks pretty enough. It's okay. So you need to write your description in here. Sorry, your primary text in here, which is what people see down there to interact with. Then I have a headline here, which is come get started. So that will also show on the ad, which is important. And then I have my website URL. So if I go Command V, because I just copied it, here's my website URL that I copied over. And so you could put the headline here is what's at the bottom of the page. You can't see it on that one. Let me just see if I can show you on this one. Will it show me on these ones? You can actually go through here and it will show you what it looks like on every different type of ad too. So you can see what it's going to look like no matter what you've loaded it up into. So of course it's just taking ages to do that.
I'm going to go.
Okay, lovely to see you, BRIE.
I don't know how to leave. Oh, here, found it. Okay, bye.
Bye. I'll come back and ask questions in a minute, guys. Okay, so that's what it would look like. That's what it looks like on Instagram stories. So it will show you how it looks like, and then you can change the call to actions to whatever you want. So in a traffic ad, I'd normally put learn now, but I would for this one, I would say sign up. Okay, so it's got quite a level of high intent, and I'm going to get them to sign up for it. So you can choose, or for you might do shop now for e-commerce. So there's a whole lot of different things, and when they press that button, they will go to that website URL thing. You can see here it's tracking my Facebook pixel, and then that's okay because I've already done that. I've done the display link, I think. Let me just check. I have done the display link, so I'm okay. And then I'm going to go confirm. Oh, no, it's done. I can tell it's done. So that's how you make a traffic ad. And then, so that's a very simple ad that you need to do that will take people to my ad and help them do it. I'm going to come back and ask if there's any questions. I'm going to come and check your questions here while it just confirms. Has anyone got any questions about that? Now it's publishing, and it's going to be publishing very soon. No, it's not a URL specific to my ad. It's just going straight to my sign up. You could do a URL specifically that is a landing page. I could also do that. And that is probably best practice, but I'm pretty lazy around those sort of things. And I do that for some things. How often do you recommend changing ads? Well, this is the thing. So your ads, Chrissy, are e-commerce ones. So actually your ads are dynamic. It's quite a different thing. You don't have to change your ads as often because the way they're set up is the ads are changed. So they change dynamically. It is a different thing. But if you are doing those traffic ads, we normally recommend changing those once a month. So it is it's weird, and I can't, that's what we'll talk about more in depth with the other one. So that is a way that you'd create a traffic ad. The call to action button that gets the best results normally is, they catalog it, they changes your catalog changes. How cool is that? So what I would normally recommend with CTA actions for best results is normally learn more is the least aggressive and the best one that you would normally use. So that's the difference between these traffic ads and e-commerce. E-commerce ads are fully dynamic. If you sell out of something, it just doesn't get shown anymore. Whereas these ones, we're reliant to change and adapt and change. So with our clients that we do traffic ads for, we normally change them once a month. The other thing is I would normally do more than one ad. So I've actually got a couple of other images that I'm going to do with different text. And I will, if I'm setting that up, I'll do 3 or 4 different traffic ads, let them run for a couple of days. One will often perform heaps better than another, and I'll turn off the other ones because I know that that's the one that's working. So even though I've just gone and done that live walkthrough with you now, I would normally do 3 or 4 different ones to test. And when we're working with a client and we're doing traffic ads for them, we'll often do 3 or 4 different types, and then we'll go through. Yes, I used Canva. It's here. Yes, you can, Emma. I would say that if you do that, and we do use that for small budgets and people that haven't used it before, we normally use traffic ads for cold audiences and then retarget with dynamic ads. If they are a new business and they haven't had a lot of generation, that's often what we do. It just depends on the client, and sometimes that doesn't work. So it's going into quarter 4, you need to not do that. You need to be using dynamic ads, but we'll talk through that. So just a couple of other things. I mentioned before about how you can target. So that was called a broad match. The other ways that you can target ads is you can use your email list. You can download your email list as a CSV file and upload it into Facebook, and then you can target people that are on your email list, and you can target people that look like the people on your email list. You can target people who've been to a particular page on your website or have been to your website. So I would do a retarget ad, perhaps, where I go, okay, anyone that's been to my website for the last 45 days, I'm going to give them this ad. You can target people who've watched a video on Facebook, and you can target people who've seen part of those things. I don't use the A/B split testing directly in Manager. I create different ads because I have found that the A/B split testing isn't great for the small budgets that we use in New Zealand. Exactly. The retarget ads, we just ran out of time. What I might do is I might do a quick video after this and send you guys a link to it, so that you've got it in your, I'll just make a note, the retarget ad. I'll do a little video, post this as a little bonus for this, because we're not doing those next one. So we talked about the retargeted ads. So basically with the retargeted ads, when you go through to make the audience, your audience is people who've been on your website. So I'll show you how to do that on the little post, so you know how to do that. Now, for those of you that are interested, before we just finish up here, I did just want to show you what's coming up on that other ads, on the other one, so you know what's going on. So it is only for people that are e-commerce, because there is just so much more that you need to know for e-commerce. So this is our e-commerce webinar that's coming up. Yes, you need to have the pixels set up before you can retarget, because otherwise they don't know what to do with it. So this is Monday, October the 5th. It is specifically made for those people who've got e-commerce stores that are heading into Q4, which is what we call from October, November, December for Facebook ads, because this is the time that you do it. So we will talk about how to create those catalogs. We can't do them in this time, but we talk around what that is. And then we talk through, and I'm going to give you so much content in this. It will blow your mind. I have actually written, I'm writing a big workbook for this, and you will get access into our portal, our client portal for Facebook ads, so that you can go through and learn the training again and again from that as well. And because it's a paid one, you will get permanent access to this webinar, this one here, plus you'll get permanent access to this one that we've done today as a refresher beforehand, to make sure that you know how to manage it and do it and how to scale up. So we are going to make sure that you're well looked after for your sales ads. It is $297, which includes GST. And I'm only going to do that. Sarah, because you are a client of ours, you will actually get that one for free. So just so you know, if you are an existing client with ours and you're doing the Facebook ad generation, you will just get that post this, which is really important. Just one last little thing I just want to share with you before we go. I will be sending this to you in the emails that you'll be getting from us. I'm so pleased. So you'll be getting, just one last thing is, obviously take action today. You only get this for 5 days unless you're a client. So you need to make sure that you take action and you do an ad. Otherwise, it will just go out the window. Join our free Facebook group. There will be information links in your emails to do that if you're not already in part of our Map It group. Come and learn at our free school, the Toolbox. So I'll put a link for that in there. And for those of you who go, whoa, I need help with all this digital stuff, I'll also put a link in for the Regional Business Partners funding. So if you want us to come and do your strategy and help you with these things, we can help you either with the 100% funding or the 50% co-funding if you've got eligibility for those things. Otherwise, guys, it has been a huge pleasure working with you guys today. I hope it's helped. Take that pace that you need. Rex, this is perfect for you guys. This is all you'll need. And I will see you next week. And have a great day. Thank you so much for staying past the time. It just shows you there is so much to learn, don't you think? But have a beautiful and great day. And I will see you guys later. And please, you learn.